Ready for a new phone? Well, all the details about the new iPhone 12 lineup are out there. But with a crowded lineup of new available iPhones, it isn't easy to know which one you should get. I'm going to break down the complete iPhone lineup available today and which one I think you should get. Let's do it. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you're new here, my name is Andy. On this channel, I'm helping you enhance your life with technology, offering tutorials, reviewing new products, and talking about recent tech news. If you like technology too, please consider hitting that subscribe and that bell so you get notified as I'm releasing videos every Sunday. Let's talk iPhone. For this comparison, we're going to exclude the Pro models as the previous iPhone 11 Pro models are no longer available, so we're just going to exclude those from this comparison. We're going to stick to the main models available, excluding the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro Max, Pro and Pro Max. So let's start with the 12. Pricing a little confusing, we'll get into that in a second, as Apple has decided to advertise the price of these phones using the carrier's deal price. And that can be a little deceiving because if you don't have the carrier that they're advertising the price for, then it may be a little confusing as to what exactly price you're gonna pay. The iPhone 12 does come in starting at $799 with the lowest storage, and that's for Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. And again, coming at the standard storage size is 64, 128, and 256 gigabytes. The notch is still there in this phone, so it might look similar, but there is a lot new and exciting to know about the new iPhones, starting with that new squared off design, which allows better use of all the internal space and allows them to cram more stuff inside. And actually, this phone, because of that, does come in slightly smaller and slightly lighter than iPhone 11. Of course, in bigger news is 5G. And as Apple put it, 5G just got real. That also can be a little deceiving, but I see why they went with that advertising tagline. 5G did get real in the sense that the market is about to get flooded with 5G devices. But if you're not in the area where 5G is available, 5G is really no use to you. Also, for most of us, we're not using our phones in a way that really requires or can take advantage of the benefits that 5G can provide. So 5G did dominate the release event for Apple, but this isn't really useful for most people yet.
This is a game changer.
This is a huge step forward in phone technology and one that will be a game changer soon. Just this is not a feature I would hinge my decision on upgrading or not, at least not today. As we would expect with every iPhone refresh every year, the iPhone 12 does come with increased or improved performance specs with the new Apple A14 Bionic Chip, their new processor inside the phone, which I have not seen any performance numbers, but I have seen reviews stating the phone is snappier and performance improvement is quite obvious. Also, the camera, another expected improvement area where the new camera does have a wider aperture, allowing more light in, and they've also made available their new night mode and new Deep Fusion, which was available on the previous iPhone 11 Pro to the iPhone 12 on both the front and back cameras. So Deep Fusion is that neural image processing where it snaps multiple pictures, picks the right one automatically for you. This is available on both cameras, front and back. It does have the same wide and ultra wide lenses available, again with that wider aperture. And maybe a new advancement that's a little bit ahead of its time is the camera's new availability to capture video in HDR with Dolby Vision. And why do I say it ahead of its time? Dolby Vision is really cool if you go and read about that. But again, it's not very useful yet. If I were to take a video with the iPhone 12 in HDR with Dolby Vision, there isn't really much I can do with that video yet. I couldn't even upload it to YouTube, let alone put it in my video editor to edit. So this is, again, a feature that's ahead of its time. I'm sure as time goes on, this feature will get more and more common, put in more TVs where this video format could be useful. Also, a big jump forward is the iPhone's new OLED display. The display does come in at the same exact size as the iPhone 11 at 6.1 inches. But instead of an LCD on the iPhone 11, the new screen on the iPhone 12 is an OLED, which, as we learned from kind of watching TV technology, OLED does lend itself to much higher resolution, sharper images, and more true colors. So those colors will be more vibrant, the blacks will be blacker, etc. So this is a huge step forward. So the screen will be much nicer, images much nicer. Sticking with the screen, it is no longer made of glass. At least Apple wouldn't call it that. They're calling it this new ceramic shield, which is some kind of composite of ceramic and glass, which they claim has a 4 times greater drop protection. I haven't seen many videos on this yet, but I can't wait to watch some drop tests to see if this claim can really live up to that 4x promise. And rounding out the highlights on the iPhone 12 is the Magsafe. This is kind of a blast from the past. If you're familiar with the MacBook lineup of the past, that used to come with the Magsafe power connectors. I still have one. Now they're putting it on the iPhone, and this may be a real useful addition moving forward, not only for charging, but for available accessories and components. I've already seen multiple out there for, of course, what Apple has released for cases, chargers, and wallet adapters. But also I've seen some third-party accessories in terms of for camera setups to attach spotlights, flashes, or microphones, and even some tripods. So this is just opening up another ecosystem for third-party accessory companies to offer. And I think this is gonna open up a whole new world of possibility. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, sticking with the iPhone 12 lineup, of course, is the Mini. The Mini does come in starting at $100 cheaper than the iPhone 12 at $699, and is offered in the same storage sizes, 64, 128, and 256. And literally, guys, this is an iPhone 12 Mini. It's the same phone, just smaller, same internal specs, processor, camera, screen, everything exactly the same, comes in smaller. It is even smaller than the latest gen iPhone SE, but has a bigger display. And this is thanks to that OLED technology, which allows the bezels to be smaller and the new squared off edges, allowing the screen to go all the way to the edge of the device. So it is the iPhone 12 Mini is now the smallest iPhone available in the entire 2020 iPhone lineup, but it also has a bigger screen than the previous smaller phone. Okay, of course, the elephant in the room is the iPhone 11. This phone lives on, as of course it's the previous generation. The Pros have died off. Those are no longer available, the iPhone 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. The iPhone 11 now comes in starting at $599, is available in all the same storage sizes as the iPhone 12. As I mentioned, does have the same size display, but instead of that new OLED, it is the existing LED display. So in result, it has a lower resolution, less vibrant colors, things of that nature. It is still a great phone, still a great display. I'm shooting this video on an iPhone 11 here. So it's still, even though it is a previous generation camera system, you can still capture 4K video, albeit without HDR, Dolby Vision, but this phone still has optical image stabilization, the dual camera system, FaceTime, IP68, water resistant, all the good features, still a great phone. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the iPhone SE, second generation, stays in the available lineup for 2020. This is no longer the smallest iPhone available. It is now the second smallest iPhone available after the iPhone 12 Mini. This is slightly larger than the iPhone 12 Mini. However, it does have a smaller display because, like the iPhone 11, this also has that the LCD display as opposed to the OLED on the new iPhone 12 lineup. The iPhone SE also does not have Face ID, so you're stuck with a physical button on the front for use with Touch ID. Something I actually was hoping that would come along in the iPhone 12 lineup, given our new mask reality world where Face ID is sometimes struggling to use. However, this is the last iPhone in the available lineup with Touch ID available and a physical button on the front of the phone. And it also has It does not have that dual camera setup. It only has that wide lens, not that ultra wide lens found on the iPhone 11 and 12 lineup. In terms of processing, this does come with that A13 processor, which is the same processor found in the iPhone 11, so one generation behind the new iPhone 12. So still a decent phone, and starting at $399, not a bad value. This coming in as the cheapest phone in the current iPhone lineup. And last, and certainly probably least, is the iPhone XR, and honestly, I can't understand why this phone is still available. It comes in a little more, $100 more than the iPhone SE at $499, and is only available up to 128 gigabytes, so you don't even have the option to buy one with 256. It does have Face ID, however, it does come with a previous generation processor, the A12 chip, so it is a processor older than what's available in the iPhone SE and iPhone 11. Again, I don't know why this one is still available. It's the same 6.1 inch size as the iPhone 11, little older specs, similar display, LCD, $499. I don't know about this one, guys. And wrapping it up, that's the complete lineup. None of these phones, by the way, come with a charger or earbuds in the box. So you will have to provide your own charger. I'll leave a link down below. I ended up buying a USB-C fast charger from Anker, which I think is really nice. I would definitely recommend that. You can find that link down below if you want to check that out. And you'll have to buy some earbuds or AirPods if you want to go wirelessly. They are still providing a USB-C to Lightning cable in the box, so you will still have a cable to charge with, just no charging brick. Okay, before I continue and tell you what I think you should do, please let me know if you're getting any value out of this video by hitting that like button. So which iPhone you should get really depends on a few things for me. First, how do you use your phone and how old is your current phone? I was recently asked by a friend of mine who has an iPhone 8 which phone they should look into upgrading, the iPhone 11 or the iPhone 12. My first reaction was, well, you have the iPhone 8. So you're not going to be missing anything if you don't go with the latest and greatest technology. But how old your iPhone is that you're upgrading from will impact the magnitude of the changes that you're going to experience. Going from the 8 to the 12 is going to be a greater difference than going from the 8 to the 11, for example. Some of the reasons I mentioned why to get the iPhone 12, some of those really cool specs, OLED display, 5G, new camera specs. Some of those features might not be needed if you're still living just fine today with an old model like the iPhone 8. On the other hand, I did mention at the beginning of the video that the pricing for the new iPhone 12 lineup is a little confusing because Apple decided to advertise it based on the carrier pricing, not the device pricing by itself. And AT&T has actually been offering, at least at the time of this recording, offering if you trade in an iPhone 8 or newer for a new iPhone 12, it's absolutely free. I think that, guys, is a no-brainer. If you have AT&T and you want to trade in, get the 12. It's absolutely free. There's really no decision there. You're not going to be, there's no downside to the phone, especially if you're getting it for free. So I'd say if you have your AT&T, trade it in, get the 12. If you are upgrading from an older phone and you don't have AT&T, you may be happier with the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11, remember, comes in at $200 cheaper than the iPhone 12. And for me, it is not $200 better. The iPhone 12 is not. So 5G is really cool, is gonna move the needle, is gonna be a game changer eventually, but it's not today. It's not even available where I live. So the iPhone 11 is still a great phone. It's a better value. I'd say save the money, get the iPhone 11, and then a couple years from now when you're ready to upgrade again, you can upgrade to the latest and greatest 5G phone Apple has just released with better performance than its current iPhone 12 5G lineup. If you're really itching for a new phone and you like the specs of everything the iPhone 12 has to offer, I think an enticing option is the iPhone 12 mini. Again, it has all the same specs as the full-size iPhone. It's just smaller, so smaller battery, but it's got a smaller display, and it comes in $100 cheaper. Not to mention, the fact that a smaller iPhone is one I know personally multiple people have mentioned they would love because they can operate it with one hand because their thumb can finally reach all the way across the screen again. This phone for me, I think, is going to be very popular. I'll touch on the iPhone XR again, and I mean, just don't. And lastly, the iPhone SE. If you are really budget conscious and in need of an upgrade, the iPhone SE is still a logical choice. It has a better processor than the iPhone XR, the same processor found in an iPhone 11. It comes in at a smaller size, has Touch ID instead of Face ID. Maybe that's not important to you. And it is budget friendly if you think $400 is budget friendly. And hey, maybe you're just one of those techies that needs the latest and greatest gadgets. That's okay too. Thanks for watching.